It's 4 o'clock.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining this section today. This is a series in the Azure Nigeria Studies series for November in 2024. So I'd like to welcome everybody wherever you're joining us from. This is evening time in Nigeria. It could be morning in your place or afternoon or evening. So good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. So today we are going to be looking at an overview of Azure DevOps services and setting up CI/CD pipelines. And this section is going to be anchored by an amazing speaker and a community leader as well, in the person of Raphael Gabmomo. Raphael Gabmomo is a Microsoft most valuable professional MVP, and he's also a Microsoft certified trainer. And he bring us from his wealth of experience, he's going to bring us a deep dive overview of Azure DevOps services and how you can set up CI/CD pipelines. I forgot to mention my name. My name is Imo Etuk. I'm also a Microsoft MVP in the Azure category. So I will be bringing up the speaker in the person of Raphael. Raphael, welcome. Good evening once again.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. I'm excited to be doing some community service once more, and I can't wait to share with everyone.
All right, thank you. Over to you, Raphael.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, now I want to tell you, before I start talking about Azure DevOps pipeline, I want you to understand something, that this is 2024, okay, and it has been like this for quite a while, okay. Now, there is the need to take quality products to the market, okay. There is the need to take quality products to the market. There is the need to make sure that you're not your competitors are not beating you to the game. Okay, so that's why things with regards to software development, it is important to implement DevOps practices. And today, I'm going to be showing you a bit of overview here and there on how to understand and start using Azure DevOps for your CI/CD pipeline. Now, let me tell you one thing that you might not understand. Let me tell you one thing that you might not understand. I understand that people like using Jenkins because it's free and it's open source. But guess what? What stands Azure DevOps from the competition out is that it integrates with all Azure services. So if you're using Azure Kubernetes, if you're using App Service, if you're using whatever you're using in Azure, okay, Azure DevOps is perfect for it. And as a Microsoft MVP, I'm proud to advocate for Azure DevOps and Azure Service. So I'm going to go on with the class. Okay, so the objective today is not to bore you, but to make you understand the core services provided by Azure DevOps and understand how to set up a CI/CD pipeline. Now, I want to take it from when I started. I'm going to show you the things that were my blockers then. So I've highlighted them here so as they do not become a blocker to you. Okay, so let's proceed. So we're going to be looking at, for today's lecture, I'm going to talk about introduction to Azure DevOps. We're going to look at the services inside Azure DevOps, the things that make up Azure DevOps. We're going to set up a CI/CD pipeline, just how to get started. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to end this lesson with the best practices for effective code deployment. Okay, so yes, let's get started. What is Azure DevOps? Now, for some of you that have been using Team Foundation Server for quite a while, yes, it's the same thing. It's just that the name changed. Okay, the name changed. And now I want to tell you that Azure DevOps has become a force to reckon with. Okay, it's become a force to reckon with. It has become a very matured product, and if you're saying, yeah, it has become a very mature product, and you can use it for your full software development life cycle. So whatever you need, from planning to from planning to everything, to deployment, to building, to stages, everything, it has everything for your full application lifecycle. Okay. Yes. So now Azure DevOps is structured around the core services that it provides. And in the next couple of slides, I'm going to be breaking those services to you. And when we finish, I'm going to end up with a link to MSLearn that you can even do further studies with. Okay, so let's go slowly. So now the very first component of Azure DevOps is Azure Pipelines. Okay, now Azure Pipeline is a powerful tool for continuous integration and continuous deployment or development. It helps you to build tests, and deploy your applications. Okay, now it has support for multiple languages, so whether it's Java, Node.js, whatever language that you are used to, it supports almost all the popular languages. Now, and the pipelines can help you deliver code faster by automating repetitive tasks. Now, for the pipeline, we can use it for CI, okay, and we can use it for CD. What is CI? Now, the process whereby you take your code from the developer's laptop to the source code repository and test it to make sure that it's a clean code. That process is CI. Now, for the last part,
Raphael, I think, sorry,
yes,
Raphael,
please.
to cut in. I think there's a question by SSH about Golang.
Okay.
SSH would like you to come forward. Maybe we have some discussion. You refer to if Golang can be deployed with Azure DevOps. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So
yes, you can do that. I will leave it to the speaker to answer. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for starting it up. So I believe that almost all the popular and common languages that you have today can work seamlessly with Azure DevOps. Now, let me tell you one thing. One thing that I like about Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft, from the way I've come to understand, they don't really put. They don't want to put forward that, oh, only our stuff can work. Microsoft has been so transparent in such a way that they are open. Okay, they are open to most other services to be on their platform. And as you know, Golang is the main language for Kubernetes. So there is no how that you would want to deploy a Kubernetes related workload and you say, no, it works with, to cut the long story short, yes, Golang works perfectly with Azure DevOps. Okay, so to cut this long story short, whenever you think of Azure Pipeline, think of two things. Think of your CI, your CD. Okay, the part where you can test your code, you can make sure that your the code quality is working very well, and you can also push to production without any issue. That's when that's the picture I'd like you to put in your mind. Okay, now what are the key features of Azure Pipelines? Now, it is YAML based because, as you know, it's YAML based because we want to do things declaratively. Okay, it's YAML based and it provides a greater flexibility and syntax. And you can use it. You can have multiple stages in your YAML file. Whether it's you want to put a stage for deployment, a stage for testing, even for pushing to production, it can come in different stages. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've managed to confuse you, but to shed more light and make you feel lighter, Azure Pipeline is majorly broken down. Can be used for CI/CD, the part where you test and the part where you deploy to production. Okay, so let's take a look at the second other feature of Azure DevOps, Azure Repo. Now, I'm sure that you are very much aware that the currency of every software company is their code. Okay, the most important thing to Facebook is the code of the Facebook app. The most important thing to my company, if my company is into applications, is the code. Okay, so developers don't just work and save the codes in their laptop. They need to save it in a source code repository. Now, it might also shock you that the owners of the most popular source code repository as it's still the same people that own Azure DevOps. Now, Microsoft owns GitHub. If you're not aware, and Microsoft owns Azure DevOps as well. So GitHub is basically used to is a server. It's an online server that's used for storing code. The basic technology behind GitHub is JIT. Okay, is JIT. It's used for collaboration, for source code tracking, and for all the amazing things that brings software projects to life. So the same things you can do with JIT and JIT, yes, same things you can do with JIT, you can also do it as your repo. So if you don't want to save your code in GitHub, you can save them in Azure Repo as well. Okay, so Azure Repo provides version control to manage your code. It supports JIT, it supports TFVC. It allows people to collaborate on changes. Everything you can do on GitHub with your code, you can do it with Azure Repo. Okay, so now some of the features, well, we have, yeah, so it has full support for version control. You can also have branching policies and all that, all the other cool stuff that you are used to even in Azure Repos. So if you are in this meeting and you're a little bit confused, you do not know if you should switch from whatever you're used to Azure DevOps. I'm telling you right now that you don't have any problem, that Azure Repo works seamlessly with every other source code technology that you're already used to, and it does exactly the same thing. Okay. Yes, as you know, for every single project every software project, you need to work, you need to plan, you need to work. You need to have a planning process for every project. Okay, now that is also available in Azure DevOps. So you see the cool things I've been saying about Azure DevOps. We look at the pipelines, okay, for CI and CD. We've looked at repo for storing the code. Then we are looking at the bots now for the to manage the project, okay, to manage the project, to track whatever is going on with the project, the stories, to visualize project status. And guess what? It works with Agile, all the normal Agile principles that you are used to. So whether it's Kanban board you want to build, Scrum boards, everything is still available in Azure Boards. Okay, let's take a look at the next feature that is available in Azure DevOps. Another cool feature that you see in Azure DevOps is the fact that when you have built your code, listen, guys, it all starts with the developer's computer. Okay, so you are a developer, you write some beautiful code for Facebook or Meta for your laptop. Yeah, not for your laptop, for your application. Okay, now it does not stay in your application. It has to go to a source code repository. Okay, source code repository. I told you the most popular one in the world is GitHub, but Azure DevOps has something for you, which is Azure Repo. So when you have done all that, you build it. You've done all the CI process. You package it next into an artifact. No, Azure Artifact. Yeah, you can package it. Okay, now Azure Artifact is a package management solutions. Okay, so if you have your packages, you can store them in Azure Artifact. Now, this is a package management solution. It allows you to create hosts and share packages with other people, and it supports multiple languages. So we've seen the roadmap that this product is robust, all the things that it can carry. Whether you finish writing, you can test, you finish testing, you can even build and store it as a package. And maybe you don't want to push to production yet, or maybe your team is not with you, your team is in another location. You can share the package with them and let them use it for some cool stuff. So another thing that I want you to know is that so it has a centralized storage for dependencies and all that. Now, one thing that I've been mentioning that I like about Azure DevOps since the beginning of this talk is that it integrates seamlessly with things in Azure. Azure DevOps integrates seamlessly with other things in in Azure as a platform, and you can directly integrate Azure Artifacts for your deployments and all that. So let's take a look at another beautiful feature that, yeah, so let's take a look at another beautiful component of Azure DevOps. So another component that you should take, that we should not. So I think that this, before I go on, I think I want to go show you the product itself, because I've been mentioning so many things already. I don't want to leave you guessing that what am I talking about. So now this is an introductory class. I'm supposed to make you like the product. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be going to Azure portal. Just give me a minute. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to Azure portal, and we have equivalent of Azure Repo. Yes, every cloud provider have their own way of doing things. Just give me a minute. I'll share my screen. I want to show you all this from Azure portal. So portal.azure.com. So I'm going to share my screen back. Just give me a minute. Here is the meeting page here. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a minute. I'm going to be with you. Boom. Okay, so the easiest way to access Azure DevOps, for me, okay, so for me, the easiest way to access any Azure product will be to search for it in the search bar. So if you're a little bit confused, you don't know Azure DevOps, how do I get it? Just type Azure DevOps in your search bar. Okay, so you click on Azure DevOps organization, it will bring something. Yeah, it brings this up. You can just click on this. It opens up a new browser page and takes you directly to the website of Azure DevOps. Okay, so I already created, yeah. Okay, so you can see for everyone, you need to create an organization. So let me say, so let's assume that I want to create a new organization. I'm going to create like this, okay? I'm going to create continue. I'm going to give it a name. Let me just call it training. Where do I want, okay, so training AZ. Okay, so let's say I want to host it in the United States. I want to put the code that I can see clearly, YVD Y6. I think that is S. Okay. So it has everything to manage your software development project. Okay. Everything that you'll find in a product like GitHub to manage your project, you'll find it here as well. Now, why we like it is because basically is because it's yeah, it integrates with everything and it's easy. So first thing, I want to give my project a name. Let me call it training as well. Train. Okay, let's say train. Okay, so you can either choose a private, or so if I create a project, it will create it directly. Okay, so it's creating a project. Boom. So we have a project. Yeah, we have a brand new project for us to play with. So the things that I've been saying, I think it's easier if you see them directly from the platform. How did we get here? I just searched for it on Azure and boom, it took me here. Okay. So you can see that on the left-hand side, okay, every single thing you need to create an amazing project is here. So you can see that we have an overview, which is what we are saying. It says, welcome to the project. We have boards, we have repos, we have pipelines, we have test plan, we have artifacts. Now, let me tell you, one thing that is going to make you a master of this is if after this training, you decide to play with these things, okay? So you need to come and create, play with them a little bit. It will make the concept easier to sink in, especially if this is the first time that you're seeing this, okay? So now, I told you that we use Azure Boards for managing projects Okay, so let me click on Azure Boards so that you can see.
And I think it's quite enough. Some people don't have any experience at all. Some have different exam, and
so you can see Azure Boards. Okay, so this is the welcome screen. They even work every day. So you can create new items. You can create new issues. Yeah, you can create epic. You can even create task. Okay, so Azure Boards is used for managing your project. Okay, because every software that is built starts as a project. Okay, software one. Okay, so the task, yeah, every software that is being built starts as a project. So you need a place to manage all the things related to that project, which is why Azure Board is good for. Say here we have backlogs, we have sprints, we have queries, we have delivery plans, we have even analytics. Okay, so it's a cool one. But before the training ends, I'm going to be sharing with you a template that you can play with a sample project already. But this is fresh from a brand new Azure account with no templates and all that. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you a template to play with later on. You'll see all the things for yourself. Okay, you even have wiki to document everything that relates to the project. Okay, now let's take a look at pipelines. Now, let's take a look at repos. So you can see the same way it is in GitHub, where you can create a repo, you can clone a repo, you have those same features here as well. Okay, you have those same features. You see, you have branches the same way you have it in GitHub. You have pull requests. Okay, you have provision for security to make sure that your code, nothing happened to your code, everything is safe. The same way it's in GitHub, you have it here as well. Okay, now the first one that I spoke about earlier was pipelines. Okay, let's take a look at pipelines. Okay, so I think I'm not going to jumpstart this because I have a slide. I have a slide separately for pipelines. So I'm going to leave this one. But you can see that Azure DevOps has different components. Okay, and everything is all working together to help you build a very beautiful and mature it supports your full application lifecycle. Okay, whether it's CI, continuous. I remember I said CI is the process where the code leaves the developer's computer and goes to a source code repository and is being tested for errors and all that. So CI, CD, the process where the build is living whatever it is, living here and going into production so that the users can finally use it. So it has everything for that. Okay, so the artifacts, we looked at artifact earlier on. So artifact is for storing packages. Okay, so if you tested, yeah, you can store a package here and share it with other people to use. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing this and go back to my slide so that you guys can we can continue the session. Okay, so let's go back to the slide. Okay, where is my slide? Okay, so we were here. Okay, so the next thing we'll take a look at is Azure Test Plan. Test Plan will create a comprehensive solution for manual and exploratory testing. Okay, so if you want to test. Now, let me tell you guys one thing you should understand. Okay, now the reason why these things are there is because you want to create a matured product. Okay, now the very first company I worked when I left university was a company that makes games. Okay, now you do not want to push a game into production that is buggy. If you throw a game that is buggy into production, especially if you go into very matured markets, because the most important market for any game company is China and USA. Now, the customers in China and the customers in USA, they don't smile. If you make any mistake, they will pull your bluff. They will write nonsense about the game, and if the bad reviews get to a certain number, you'll be thrown off or you'll be banned for life. So in order to stop all this and not get into trouble with the products, or not let the competitor come and take over, because once a good company sees the competition, even though they have some software glitches, they know what you've made, they can actually recreate that thing. So you don't want a situation where you put a product into market and 1 month into it, you're having errors and glitches. So that's why some of these things are in place. All the errors get cached, you test all the errors, you catch them, you solve all the problems before pushing your application into production. Okay, so for Azure Test Plan, we can use it for manual testing. Okay, we can use it for exploratory testing. And if you want things to be done automatically, you can even integrate this into CI/CD, and all the things are done automatically. Okay, so let's take a look at the next slide. Okay, so in the next couple of steps, we're going to be looking at how to basic understanding of CI/CD and how to set it up in Azure DevOps, because it is it's very easy. Okay, so I'm going to go to the first step. Now, the very first step is to go to pipelines and create a new pipeline. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to show you my account so that we can play and think out with it from the account that I showed you earlier on. Okay, so where is Azure DevOps? Here. Azure DevOps, where are you? Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing this. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so let's go to pipelines. Okay, so if I create now the thing that we did, say create a new pipeline. Okay, I can create a folder. I'm just going to go ahead. We're just playing with them to show you an introduction. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, remember that I told you earlier on, is for CI/CD. Okay, every single software in this world is powered by code, and codes get written in text editors. Okay, and when the code have been written, they need to get saved somewhere. Where are the codes saved? In source code repository. So from my laptop, I can push to GitHub. Okay, or from my laptop, I can push. So wherever it's saved, I'm going to click on there. So I'm just going to play and think out with GitHub. Let's assume I saved the code on GitHub. So I'm going to play with this. I'm going to click here. Okay, so let's assume that any of these things that you're seeing is where my code was saved. I'm just going to choose one randomly. Let's take this one, for example. Let's assume I saved my code in that place. Okay, so I'm going to okay. So you can see that with a single push of the button, okay, now I don't know if I have code on that repo, but if assuming I have code on that repo, with a single push of the button, I can transfer my code from wherever I saved it to my pipeline. Very easy. Just one push of the button. Okay, so let's wait for the process to be complete. Okay, so now you're going to choose a template. Okay, so if you want to use an existing template now, Azure has made everything very easy for you. So whatever the project that you're working on, there is a template. That's a good thing about Azure DevOps. Okay, so there is a template for everything. So whether it's an Android project that you're working on, whether it's an ASP.NET, whether it's a Go, like our friend that asks about Golang, you can see Golang, you can see Maven, Node.js, whatever project you're working on, there is a template for it. Okay, so you see it goes on and on and on. So I'm just gonna show you the starter. So I know that some of you here might be new. This might be the first time that you're playing with this. So I'm going to click on the starter pipeline. Okay, I have explained some of the things in I've explained them in my next slide so that when you're taking a look at this tomorrow, you don't say, oh, that looks like code, it's very difficult. No. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining this for you later on, but you can see that now let me go back to my slide and explain this. I caught this somewhere. You can see that this is made up of, the first thing you see there is trigger. Okay, you see pull and you see steps. Okay, let me stop sharing this. I'm going to share my slide and we're going to see how it goes from there. Okay, so this is my slide. Okay, so this is this is the step that we've just looked at. We defined the pipeline. We went to pipeline. We clicked on new pipeline. We connected it to wherever we save the code for our application. Now, remember, the purpose of this is to make things easier and faster so that you can go to market without any errors. Okay, so we're going to cache the code, we're going to build it, we're going to deploy it to production and make sure that we do not have any errors. So let's move to let's say that this is code for our. Okay, so let's assume this is the code for our CI process that you're seeing on the screen. The first thing that you can see there is the trigger. What does that mean? Okay, second thing, pulls, then step. What does the trigger mean? Now, the trigger means that whenever anything happens, okay, in the main branch, okay, now, whenever anything happens, let's assume that the code is stored on a particular branch. Whenever anything happens in the main branch, it should trigger the pipeline to automatically build itself. Okay, so let's assume that someone has built an amazing application. Someone has built an amazing application, and all of a sudden, another team member comes, blah, 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 blah. He wants to add something to it. Maybe he wants to add a new button to it. He adds it to the code. What that thing means, if it's stored in the main branch, it should automatically trigger the process. Okay, it should automatically trigger the process to build the application and build it to follow through. Okay, so it's a very cool process actually. Now the reason I'm showing you this because I mentored someone and his blocker was basically that. Okay, so that's why I'm taking my time to explain. The first part of that YAML file you saw trigger, and the main purpose of it is anytime. Now this can the branch can be something else. Okay, maybe it's master. Okay, or whichever name that you call it. But for this particular one is the main branch. So whenever anything happens, it should automatically run so that all the changes will be implemented. So let's take a look at the next one. In that same code, the next thing that you saw was pull. Now you all understand that these things there's an abstraction. Okay, there's an abstraction. That's why you don't see that there's a computer running in the background. But at the end of the day, there is a little computer running. Okay, so that pull is just talking about the computer that will be doing the work. Okay, so for this particular one, we're using Ubuntu. Okay, the pull just is referring to the machine that is doing the work, the VM that is doing the work. In this particular case, we're using Ubuntu, and we have said is the latest. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now in every and the next thing that you see is steps. Okay, now every software deployment YAML file can have its own different. So the steps can be different, but for this particular one, this is a starter one. The steps define the actions that the pipeline we perform. So if you want it to test, if you want it to push to QA environment, if you want it to push to another environment, if you want it to finally push to, so all the steps are the things that will happen in that pipeline. Okay, whatever you want, the actions that you want to happen, they are all defined on that step. Okay, and as you know, let's check the next one. So the next one, because this is a simple starter file. So the next one will probably be the main script. Okay, so this script, we want it to run hello world. Okay, basic stuff. Now let me go back to Azure DevOps. Okay, so this is what you've just seen now. This is what I've just explained. Okay, so in this particular one, the trigger is master branch. We want anything that happens in the master branch, the pipeline should automatically run on its own. In the pull, it's not going to run by itself. It's going to need a computer. Okay, so the pull just refers to the computer that is going to use to run the process. Okay, now the next thing is the most important thing in every of these processes, the steps. Okay, now this is just a sample. Like I said earlier on, it can have all the steps, even up to pushing to production. Okay, but this is a sample, and if I were to build this, although I don't have parallelism on this, but let's watch. If I were to build this, okay, I'm going to save it like this. Okay, you can see that it's creating, basically it's creating a pipeline. Okay, you're seeing my screen. Okay, now if I go to this branch, okay, if I go to this branch where I connected, I don't think there was code in that place, you will be so shocked that the code.
Slides. You're sharing
Sorry,
your
you're
slides.
You're not sharing.
no, I'm okay, sorry, hold on. Oh, I thought I was showing Azure DevOps. Sorry. Is what sorry, I thought you guys were saying. I just what I did, the code that I explained, I just saved it and it ran. Okay, so let's assume, remember that I connected it to a branch in GitHub. Okay, so let's go back to check that branch. Okay, you see that the code of just now, okay, you can see that the code is appearing on GitHub. Okay, this will not run successfully because I don't have parallelism on the account. But let's play and think out with it. I just want you to understand the basic components of Azure DevOps and the fact that this is not difficult at all. Now, anytime I add anything to this file that you see, okay, anytime I add anything to this file that you see, if I add another step, let's assume I add another step to this. I'm gonna go to the pencil icon. I hope you're seeing my screen. Let's assume I add another step to this. Okay, if I say yeah, and I commit the change immediately, it will make the pipeline to automatically run. Okay, any single change. That's why it's the way it is. If you add anything to it, the pipeline automatically goes to run. Let me close the distraction and share all over again. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna share. I was sharing this. Okay, so let's go back to Azure DevOps. Not this. Yeah, so let's go back. Go back. Yeah, so sorry, I've gone back too much. Okay, but basically, we've seen what the pipeline itself is the main thing. Okay, so I think, hold on, I saved it and ran. It's gonna be committed twice, unfortunately. Okay, so let it finish. When it finish, so assuming I want to test it, you can see I can start testing the code from here. I can start testing it immediately if there is an error. So they get caught immediately. Even this is documentation. To test, I need to go to test plan actually. Okay, I need to go to test plan. Okay, so I need to create a test plan. Okay, test code. It's at okay, so everything needed to make a software work, okay, from conceptualization, from the moment you are conceptualizing it, to the moment that you are trying to pick the code from the source code repository, from the moment you're trying to build it, okay, and also from the moment you're pushing it into production. Everything is taken care of in Azure DevOps. Okay, so I think I have 5 minutes left. I'll rush through the rest of the slide so that I don't leave anything uncovered. So I'm going to go back to the slide. I think I stopped here. Sorry, guys, just give me a minute. We've looked at, okay, so we've looked at all this. Okay, so let's assume, the previous code that I showed to you, I want to deploy into production. All I just need to do is to add this to my YAML file, save it, run it, and voila, it would run. Okay, it will run. For here, I need to add my Azure subscription though. I need to add the name of the app, and yeah, if everything is set well and everything, it will run. So Azure DevOps has everything that is needed to run your application, from conceptualization, from testing, even to the final stage where the code gets into production. Now, I want you to know that some of you might be new here and you're hearing the word production for the very first time. Whenever you hear the word production, understand that the application is running. An application in production is an application you're using. Now, you're listening to me today because Microsoft Teams is in production. Okay, you're using WhatsApp because WhatsApp is in production. Now, what are some of the best practices for efficient code deployment? Okay, use branching policies. Add policies to the branch. Okay, now in the stage that I showed you, add different stage in that YAML pipeline. There is a separate stage for build, for test, for deploy. Add separate stage. Okay, set up approval gates. Okay, use manual approvals if possible. Then also make sure that you use artifact. Okay, use artifact. Also, you make sure that you also do text plan. Okay, so these are the best practices for efficient code deployment. Okay, now thank you for listening. I'm going to be open to your question, but before I go away, before we go to question, there's something else that I want us to take a look at, and there are going to be questions from there. Okay, so I'm going to quickly, give me a minute or two. I'm going to still share my screen, and I'm going to share that page with you. Okay, so we're looking directly from MS Lane. I have 3 more minutes. Don't worry, I'm going to be very fast. I'm going to finish everything that I need to finish before I go off. Okay, so we've looked at the overview of Azure DevOps. Let's assume this is a team of people working on a project, and they want to do things smartly. Okay, where is the next button? Okay, so I'm going to go to page 2. I've explained what Azure DevOps is. I created a DevOps organization. That was how I was able to go to Azure DevOps. You also saw it. Trying to look for the questions. I'm not seeing them. Okay, so I think it's on the summary page. It's not on the summary page. Oops. Sorry, guys. I couldn't find the questions. But anyways, this is all that I will say. So this is all we've looked at. The Azure Boards for project management, pipelines for the CI/CD, text plans for testing, repos for where you store your code, Azure DevOps for managing packages. Okay, so we have a few questions. For the very first one, what is DevOps? Okay, so there are 3 options there. I want to okay, I think I didn't define DevOps, but if you came early, you should know what DevOps is. So I want you guys to give me an intelligent guess for number 1.
Option 3 for number 1.
Okay, so you said it's option 3. So I'm going to go with what you choose. I'm saying the answer, but I'm going to go with what you choose. Okay, so what is number 2?
Is it actually?
Sorry? Okay, you said option 3. Okay, someone else is saying option 3.
Yes.
Now, the final question, what is number 3? I have 1 more minute to go. Now, don't worry, I'm going to be dropping this slide with you so that you can take a look at it. What is the last one?
Option 2.
The first option
Is
now.
option. No, it's option 2. It's option 2. I'm giving you this one in case others are wrong. At least we can. Yeah. So let's take a look. I'm going to copy the link and paste in the chat window. I'm going to check. Let's check the answers together so you can know. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our first one, our friend got it correctly. Our second one, you can see the answer is a gradual process. It's a combination of different processes. Okay, so DevOps is a gradual process. The last one, Azure DevOps, can help you throughout your application lifecycle, whether it's planning, whether it's everything. It does everything. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a question, 1 minute, drop it. If not, that will be it. Okay, that is it for me. My time is exactly up. Imo, I cannot hear you. Unmute your mic so that I hand over to you. Imo, your mic is muted. Okay, yeah, yeah, you can speak now. I still cannot hear you. Increase your Imo. I still cannot hear you.
You can check your settings, your speaker settings.
Okay, so I'm going to send. It seems I can't send a message to this chat.
Do you hear me
Okay.
now? Fine.
Yes,
Raphael?
I can hear you. I can hear you
Okay.
clearly now. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for your time. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you everybody for joining. So just as we learned from the question we just answered, DevOps is a gradual process. So one of the best practices, just to retread on what Raphael has said so far, as an organization, you want to move to DevOps, you don't just jump from step A to step C. You need to follow the gradual process. You need to go through the process of planning, the process of developing, building, deploying, and then integrating, then deploying into the production. So I would like Wozo, if you have questions, yeah, go ahead, Wozo. Can you unmute and speak?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so you answered my question because I wanted to ask about if Azure DevOps has to do with Docker, Kubernetes, and Ansible, because most of the stuff I've been seeing is Azure Kubernetes, Azure Docker, Azure Ansible. So that's what I'm asking if they are implemented in the whole build and use pipeline.
Sure. They are related. I would like to share more light on that. So what you need to do is Azure DevOps and Azure EKS. You can use Azure DevOps to deploy an application to Azure EKS. You understand that Azure EKS, that is Azure Kubernetes Service, is a containerized solution. It's a managed Kubernetes version that is owned by Azure. Azure has taken over a lot of bulky work from you by giving you that managed instance of Kubernetes. So you can simply just deploy application using Azure Pipelines, like Raphael has explained. You can deploy using Azure Pipelines into Azure Kubernetes Service, and your application will run. Is that clear?
Yes, okay, no problem.
So we also have this section coming up next week, where we are going to be looking at Azure security best practices, because in all what we do, the bottom line is how secure is our application. So next week, be ready to join and learn from the section that we have next week. And it promises to be a rewarding section. This recording is going to be made available in 3 days' time in the community YouTube channel. Watch out in the community LinkedIn page. We are going to paste the link once it is ready, and you're going to go there and watch. So thank you very much for your time once again.